Yes, sir, I'm eating.
Okay, you are there. Adeyemo, Adesta, you have been eating today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. So we're going to continue the lecture. You know, yesterday I started excretion system, and I made mention to you in my yesterday class when I started that excretion is different from injection. I made mention of the fact that excretion is a removal from the body waste product of metabolism. Okay, and I said that if this waste product are allowed to accumulate, this will prevent the maintenance of a steady body state. And I said that excretion is different from injection, which you can also say defecation. And I said that injection simply, because you people are making noise. Who is making noise there? Whose phone is that one? Whose phone is making noise?
We should mute the mic.
Look at that person's phone. It's making noise. You understand? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this morning I'm going to continue. Just follow me. We have some major metabolic waste. As much as possible, I'll be writing what I can write. You understand my point? We have some major metabolic waste. We have carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a metabolic waste. You understand my point? CO2 is a metabolic waste. We also have some nitrogen compounds. Some nitrogen compounds is also a nitrogenous waste. Nitrogen compounds which is produced by the breakdown of amino acids. So we have some like ammonia, like urea, like also uric acid.
So please, I can't see the slide.
No, you will come and collect it. I'm sorry.
Sorry, sir. Please, your screen is not shared, sir. We can't see anything, sir.
Excuse me, I told you your class governor will come and collect that from me. You understand my point? Just as I'm teaching, write down. Do you understand my point?
So is the slide going to be sent?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Thank you. Okay. So we have nitrogen compounds, we have mineral salts, and we also have water. Those are some major metabolic waste. You understand? We have water, it's a metabolic waste. Okay. We have mineral salts, it's also a metabolic waste. You understand? Now, the next one, what are the organs of excretion? Organs of excretion. What are the organs of excretion? Number one, we have the kidney. Okay, we also have liver, it's also an organ of excretion. We also have lungs, you understand? And we also have skin, which is also organs of excretion. Now, these organs of excretion, they work with the circulatory, nervous, as well as the endocrine system to help to keep the body's internal environment fairly constant and maintain homeostasis. You understand my point? Now, let's go to the kidney. The kidneys and the urinary system. As I started yesterday, I made mention of the fact that the organs of excretion is the kidney. You understand? And the kidney, the kidneys and the urinary system consists of, number one, the kidney. Okay. Then we also have the ureters. We have the ureters. We have the bladder, urinary bladder. And then we also have the urethra. Okay. Now, I told you yesterday that all these work together. They work together to make sure that excretion is carried out in the body. Very, very important. Now, when you look at the kidney, the structure of the kidney is such a way that the kidney is divided. We have the outer cortex. We have the outer cortex, and we also have the middle part called the medulla. You understand? And then we have the inner region called the pelvis. I am sure you know we have the outer cortex of the kidney. We have the outer cortex of the kidney. Then we also have the medulla. We have the medulla, okay, which is the middle part, which is made up of tubes called collecting ducts that carry filtrate to the pelvis. Then we also have the pelvis, which is referred to as the inner region. Now, I am sure from your own level work, you've been taught all these things, very, very important. You know the process or processes by which the body makes urine, which is very, very important. You understand my point? So you talk about, number one, I'm going to tell you about the process or processes by which the body manufacture or make urine, to make sure that our body, to make sure that we must, as a matter of compulsion, excrete some waste product out of our body. I am sure majority, some of you went to a very good secondary school. So I'm going to start number one from renal artery. Who has not heard about renal artery before? Who has not? If you have not heard about renal artery before, can you tell me? Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard about renal artery before?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What's the
sir.
function of renal artery? What's the function of renal artery?
Transport blood to the kidney.
It does what?
Carries blood.
Transport
It carries oxygenated blood.
It
Renal
carries blood
artery, that's
away
very
from the
good.
heart to the kidney.
Thank you. It carries oxygenated blood to the kidney. Mama. So the renal artery carries oxygenated blood. You understand my point? It carries oxygenated blood to the kidney. That is very, very important. I like that. You understand? Renal artery carries oxygenated blood to the kidney, while renal vein carries away the oxygenated blood. Now, as I've said, the cortex is the outer layer of the kidney. You understand? While the medulla is the inner layer consisting of uriniferous tubules. Now, the medulla projects inwards inside the kidney to form about 15 to 16 pyramids. Okay? While the pelvis leads into the ureter. Now, I want you to understand it very well. And because of this, I want to be very, very slow so that you will understand everything that I am saying. Now, when you have eaten your food, and then after digestion, as I started yesterday, after digestion, the food will be absorbed by the finger-like villi. It passes through the hepatic portal vein from your O-level biology, goes to the liver, and as much, one way or the other, everything goes to circulation. Now, there are so many things, so many poisons, so many chemicals, so many things that are not supposed to be inside our food, which we have eaten with the food. And as a result of this, if these are allowed to remain inside us, it's going to be very, very toxic. And eventually it's going to lead to death. And because of this, that is why we now have the kidney functioning, helping, okay, to help us to remove these waste products, these chemicals, these poisons that should not be in our body. Now, what are the functions of the kidney? You understand? Now, let me say from your, if you don't mind, you can, because I have the kidney before me here now. So you can just look at the kidney. We have the kidney, the two human kidneys. They are small organs, very, very small organs comprising less than 1% of the body weight. You understand? And once we have eaten, the function of the renal artery, it carries oxygenated blood to the kidney. Where will it enter into? Okay, then that will take me to explain, to look at what happens inside the kidney. Okay, so I'm going to start first of all by talking about the Bowman's capsule. Each nephron, that is the functional unit of the kidney. Let me write it here. Nephron, okay, is the functional unit of the kidney. Functional unit of the kidney. Functional unit of the kidney, that is the nephron. So each nephron begins with an expanded chamber. And that expanded chamber is what is referred to as Bowman's capsule. As Bowman's capsule. I'm going to write it there. Bowman's capsule. That is what is referred to as Bowman's capsule. The Bowman's capsule contains a tuft of capillaries, okay, called glomerulus. A tuft of capillaries called glomerulus. You understand? It contains a tuft of capillaries called glomerulus. Now, what happened? In this glomerulus, there is what is referred to as glomerular filtration. Glomerular filtration. The blood brought about by the renal artery, okay, to the kidney, we have first of all to pass through this particular glomerulus, which is a tuft of capillaries. Now, the glomerulus acts as specialized mechanical filter. I'm going to write it. Specialized mechanical filter. You understand? Specialized mechanical filter. That is what glomerular is. Glomerulus help us to filter whatever has been brought by the renal artery. And that blood is what is referred to as glomerular filtrate. Glomerular filtrate. That is what is referred to as glomerular filtrate. Now, solute molecules small enough to pass through the filtration slit of the capillary wall of the glomerulus are carried through by water in which they are dissolved. But however, red blood cells cannot go. Red blood cells, okay, and almost all plasma proteins and almost all plasma proteins cannot go through, okay? They cannot go through the wall of the glomerulus. Red blood cells and almost all plasma proteins, however, are withheld. Because why are they withheld? Why couldn't they go through the wall of the glomerulus? Simply because they are too large to pass through the pore. They are too large to pass through the pore. The filtrate continues. You understand? Once it now enters inside the Bowman's capsule, okay, then it now goes through what is called loop of Henle. It goes through what is called loop of Henle. It goes through loop of Henle, and then at the loop of Henle, you understand, it passes through loop of Henle, and then what happened again? That is what is now called tubular reabsorption. Tubular reabsorption. Now, let me explain tubular reabsorption. Now, you picture your mind that we are talking about renal artery now that carries oxygenated blood to the kidney. And within that oxygenated blood, there are some important things that should not be in our body, that should be eliminated, that should be removed, that should be excreted, okay? And then it gets to the kidney and enters inside the walls of the glomerulus. But however, red blood cells and almost all plasma proteins can never pass through because they are too large to pass through. And then the filtrate continues to the renal tubular system, where it eventually undergoes extensive modification before eventually it will become urine. Now, there is what is now referred to as tubular reabsorption. Approximately 60% of filtrate volume and virtually all of the glucose, amino acids, vitamins, and other valuable nutrients are reabsorbed in the proximal convoluted tubule. Class, where are they reabsorbed? Can you tell me again? Hello? Where are they reabsorbed?
In the
Proximal convoluted tubule.
God bless you. God bless you. They are reabsorbed. Do you know there is a particular disease? Write it out now. Called diabetes insipidus. Okay? Diabetes insipidus. DUS. Diabetes insipidus. If this tubular reabsorption did not take place inside any man, that person will be urinating close to 20 times in a day. Now, there is a particular hormone that catalyzes this particular tubular reabsorption. It is called antidiuretic hormones. Antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone. Or in another word, you can refer to it as a vasopressin. Vasopressin. It is vasopressin or antidiuretic hormones that is responsible for this tubular reabsorption. Okay? Let me repeat it again. Approximately 60% of filtrate brought by the renal artery to the kidney, okay, volume, and virtually all of the glucose, amino acids, vitamins inside that blood, you understand? And other valuable nutrients are reabsorbed in the proximal convoluted tubule. Much of this reabsorption is by a process called active transport. Is by a process called active transport, in which cellular energy is used to transport materials from tubular fluid to the surrounding capillary network and thus into the blood circulation. Now, electrolytes also such as sodium, potassium, calcium, bicarbonate, and phosphate are also reabsorbed by ion pumps, which are carrier proteins driven by hydrolysis of ATP. Okay, so and that is what is referred to as a tubular reabsorption. Now, after everything has been done, okay, then this urine now referred to as glomerular filtrate. Why is it called glomerular filtrate? Simply because only solute molecules that are small enough could pass through. And then glucose, amino acids, vitamins have been reabsorbed. They send back to the body. Otherwise, if they're not sent back to the body, then it's going to cause problem. Now, then it passes through the filtrate, enter, and continue to pass through the loop of Henle, okay? And then reabsorption takes place, and then the filtrate passes, get to the proximal convoluted tubule where reabsorption took place. Then it now continue into a long thin wall referred to as loop of Henle, which extend deep into the inner portion of the kidney, which is the medulla. Now, which is the medulla, before returning to the outer portion, which is the cortex, where it becomes what is referred to as a distal convoluted tubule. Now, from the distal convoluted tubule, the fluid empties into a collecting duct that are called renal pelvis. That is why you cannot, when you are talking about kidney, okay, you have to talk about, number one, you have to talk about the cortex. You talk about the cortex. Number two, you talk about the medulla. You talk about the medulla. Number three, you talk about the pelvis. You talk about the pelvis. You understand? The cortex, that is the outer layer of the kidney. Okay, the medulla, that is the inner layer. That the medulla contains all those dots. You understand? Okay, before returning to the outer cortex, outer layer of the kidney called the cortex, where it now eventually get to the distal convoluted tubule. Now, which drain? From that distal convoluted tubule, the fluid now empty into a collecting duct, which drains into what is now referred to as renal pelvis, which drains into what is referred to as a renal pelvis. Now, at this particular time or stage, the pelvis connects to the ureter. I'm going to write it now. The pelvis connect to ureter. Ureter are collecting duct. I told you about ureter. They are collecting duct through which urine will now enter inside the ureter. It now come and now go straight, definitely, then to the urinary bladder. It now goes to the urinary bladder. So urine that leaves the collecting duct is very different from the filtrate produced in the renal capsule. So during its travel to the renal tubule and collecting duct, both the composition and concentration of the original filtrate now change. Some solutes, such as I've said, glucose, amino acid, have been reabsorbed. The nephron now continue the work. So that is how urine is formed in the body. Do you have any question?
Yes, sir.
So what's the question? I'm hearing. So I've talked about glomerulus. I've talked about Bowman's capsule. I've talked about loop of Henle. That is also called renal tubule. Okay? Loop of Henle, long loop of the nephron. It is surrounded by capillaries. Reabsorption, I've talked about reabsorption. Okay? On certain parts of the filtrate, which I've said. Okay? I've talked about the process of filtration. Abi, I've talked about the process of filtration and reabsorption. Reabsorption of certain useful substances like glucose and so on and so forth. You understand my point? I've talked about reabsorption, okay, of glucose, amino acids, vitamins, and other valuable nutrients. I've talked about it. Filtration, I've talked about filtration. You understand? Okay. So, however, okay, don't let me go into, because this course is about reabsorption takes place in the proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, I've talked about that also. Urine made of urea, water, and excess salt. Okay, so how is urine being regulated? Very, very simple. Hypothalamus, which is a small area of the brain, secrete hormone. I've talked about that. I've talked about antidiuretic hormone. You understand? I've talked about antidiuretic hormone. Please, sir. filtration again. Okay, somebody is asking me to explain filtration again. You understand? Now, what I am explaining, when you talk about filtration, we talk about renal artery bringing oxygenated blood to the kidney. And that oxygenated blood, as I've said, contains some, number one, it contains glucose. It contains amino acid. It contains vitamins and some other important nutrient. Okay? Now, and when it gets to the glomerulus, it is only small, those filtrate solute molecules that are very, very small that can pass through the filtration slits of the capillary wall. You understand? And those are the ones that can pass through. Red blood cells cannot go through. And almost all plasma protein cannot go through. If they go through, when you urinate, you'll be urinating blood. And that means that when we go and urinate, we'll be urinating our blood little by little and urinate all the blood in our body. You understand? So, and that is not the will of God. So the will of God is that some red blood cells, that's the way God has made it, some red blood cells and almost all plasma proteins are withheld. Why? Because they are too large to pass through the pore. That is simply filtration. That is simply a filtration. So how is urine regulated? As I've told you, there's a particular hormone called antidiuretic hormone, or which you can also call vasopressin, So this hormone, okay, regulates urine, regulates, most importantly, the reabsorption of glucose, amino acid, and vitamins, and other valuable nutrients back into our body. You understand? That is how the urine helps. Now let's talk about the liver. The liver helps to filter the blood and regulate the makeup of body fluids. The liver detoxifies blood, removes substances such as drugs, alcohol, and certain toxins from the blood. And then how the liver changes them to an inactive form, which is excreted from the body by the kidney. It breaks down worn out red blood cells. The liver breaks down worn out red blood cells. Okay? The liver excretes bile. The liver synthesizes and excretes bile into gallbladder to aid in fat digestion. The liver forms urea, excess amino acid from protein digestion are broken down also in the liver by a process called deamination. Deamination of excess amino acid, okay, is the function of the liver. Excess amino acid from protein digestion are broken down in the liver by deamination. How is the deamination possible or done? Amino acid is removed from amino group is removed from amino acid, changed to ammonia. Ammonia is toxic to the body and is changed into urea in the liver. And kidney filter out urea in the nephron and excrete it from the body in the urine. So, any question? Any question? Any question, class?
No, sir.
So I thank you for listening. So thank you for listening. Somebody will come and collect it. That guy will come. I will give him the PowerPoint.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, sir.
Have a nice day, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Sir,
No,
please.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Sir, please excuse
Thank
me.
you,
The
sir. Yeah,
slide
now.
is when are they going to be ready?
No.
What did you say?
This slide when is going to be ready.
It's ready now. It's ready as I'm talking now.
So it will send.
It's ready now.
Sir, the slide.
He's going to send it. Ah,
It will send it.
slide is going
Okay, thank you.
It's ready now.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.